Excuse me. Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member or not logged into Stunthangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. That's stunthangar.com/SMF, Smart Men Flying. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. If you're inclined to not come in, just enjoy watching us on YouTube. Wonderful. Fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show. And I understand I can't get my word in myself sometimes, so please be patient. I will ask our illustrious panel your questions or state your comments. And by the way, you only can make comments or ask questions of the chat during a live stream. So like I said, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, if you find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host, or the many building videos, Saturday at John's house, garage, the contest coverage, I believe Sparky's going to have some live coverage at the Nats coming up in about a week or so. If you enjoy all that and you find that informative, please hit the thumbs up, please, and subscribe. And when you subscribe, hit the notification bell so that whether myself or Sparky comes on, you'll be notified. Comments, share the videos. All these activities help the Stunthangar YouTube channel grow. Please consider joining Stunthangar's YouTube channel memberships right below here, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And by the way, I'm a member, and I have the $4.99 come out of my checking account, and I don't miss it, and I suspect you won't miss it either. You also can donate over here using the Super Chat. And by the way, Super Chats have been almost non-existent for weeks and weeks and weeks, and our shows are getting better and better, so I don't understand the trend. Please support us. Do the Super Chats if that's more convenient for you to do that, as opposed to a monthly $4.99 with the memberships. Now, your support helps offset some of the expenses of running Stunthangar. And with your memberships, you'll get special badges that Sparky and I can see in the YouTube chat box, and unlimited replay of member-only videos that you won't see anywhere else. Okay, and plus you'll be supporting doing a good thing. That's for our members. And once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel. Stunthangar is not my channel, okay? I'm only here twice a week, but if you want to get in touch with me, go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. That's Flying Control Line Stunt. Place a comment or question on the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which Sparky shot with his camera of me flying his beautiful Junar XL. And if you do that, I'll be notified and I'll be able to respond to you quickly, because that's my channel. I'm only in here twice a week, and I don't even really review the comments. I might once in a while, but the most expeditious way to get in touch with me would be through my channel. Unless you were a Stunthangar Forum member, you can PM me at stunthangar.com as well. Now, I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. And please don't use words or do things you would do around your own children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm going to post a link now at Stunthangar Forum, and I'm going to do that right now. All right, that is posted. Good. Now the people who are hopefully waiting to get in, they can get in. And let me go to see how the show is going. Let me get rid of that, and let me go here. I see we have a few people already in the chat box. Let me go to the control panel. Let's see here, just give it a moment here. I'm gonna get rid of this screen. I won't need this. Yeah, got that. All right, click this, just another moment or two. Here we go. All right, looks like, obviously we're streaming. We have 10 concurrent viewers. Thank you so much. We only have 4 likes. So please, if you haven't, excuse me, if you haven't hit the like button, please smash that before you forget or before you leave. And let me see here. In the chat box, we have Jack Snavely. He says, hello all. And Charles, thank you very much. And he had these airplane stickers. And then Jeff Riley says, good evening, guys. Good evening, Jeff Riley. And here comes Keith Trossel. He's getting connected up. He'll be in here momentarily. Hey, Keith, how you doing?
I'm good, Charles. Looks like we're kind of alone right now.
Yeah, it's just you and me and Jack Snavely and Jeff Riley. And we have like 8 other people as well. So but I expect we'll have more people come in.
Yeah.
So what you been up to?
Not much really. Just tried to go out fly Sunday, and the wind forecast is supposed to be fairly decent, but it got windy, and then wind started going down, but then it got really hot, so we didn't even try to fly.
Oh, that's too bad.
Kind of interesting, that flying site we had. It's an big RC club that has this huge field out there in the middle of nowhere. And they used to have a weather station, but that was before this last winter when they had big storms. But that weather station recorded the wind speed.
Yeah.
That day that tore up everything. And it blew the weather station down. They had 110-mile-an-hour winds, and that's still posted on the club's website. They showed the winds the 6 hours that afternoon or that day, and the 6 hours before the thing got blown over, and it was over 110 miles an hour for a while just before the weather station was going away.
I have never been in 110-mile-an-hour winds. I don't even know what that feels like.
I don't either. We've had 80-mile-an-hour winds here at the house, but 100, that's significant. A lot more hitting you a lot faster.
Yes. Let me say hi to Mike. Mike, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it immensely.
Hey, Charles, how's everybody tonight?
We're doing good. I'm getting better and better. You know, I had COVID a couple weeks ago and over that, but still residual cough sometimes. So this is the first time in several weeks I actually did the monologue, because the last couple of meetings I just didn't even try the monologue. I didn't think I could make it. So it was good. My voice is coming back.
Well, good. I'm glad you got through it okay. I had it back a long time ago when it first started coming out, and I have emphysema and COPD pretty bad. So I went ahead and got my 2 shots. I didn't get the booster, but I got the 2 shots because I didn't want to compromise my respiratory system any more than it was.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm all vaxxed up. I have the booster, and there's another booster that's available to me now. I might take that. So I'm not an anti-vaxxer. So hey, well, Jerry, how you doing?
Good. How about you?
Good. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike. What was you going to say, Mike? I kind of stepped on your words.
Do what, Charles?
Oh, I kind of stepped on your words. I kind of interrupted you.
Oh, no. That's fine. I've been through it. My ex-wife had the shots, and she developed pulmonary embolisms in her lungs. And after the shot, and they had to put her in ICU to get rid of them because one of those breaks loose and goes to your heart, it'll kill you.
Oh,
So
wow.
she had a rough time with it, and I've had some problems with it. So I don't know. I wasn't anti-vaccine. I wasn't pro-vaccine. I was pro-freedom. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
the hospital here, Oshkosh Health System here in New Orleans, just got to the mask mandate about 3 weeks ago, so you can actually go to the hospital now without having to wear the mask.
Oh, okay.
Mike,
I have seen your name on the forum, and I know that you was working with Keith, well, not with Keith, but with Eric Rule to have some kits made and that kind of stuff. But I'm just curious as far as your flying. So do you fly in what class do you fly in, and do you compete?
Charles, I haven't competed in years. I think the last contest I flew in was, you remember when Alabama had theirs down there? There was some little town in Alabama. I can't remember where it was now. And I had actually gone down to visit with Tom Morris and spent some time at his house. And he and I went to that contest over in Alabama, but that's been years ago. I've got some health issues that I try to deal with. I've had 3 back spinal fusions and several knee replacements from playing football. And I can't hardly bend over and look up over my head anymore.
Okay.
That's the reason I quit playing golf, because I can't swing and twist my body. But I fly here at New Orleans at City Park with the guys. We got a club here, and I go out, and it's more or less, a good time to get together and just do some sport flying. I guess the last real competitor we had in our club was Alan Ferret, who passed away a few years ago. But Alan went to all the contests and represented the club for that. But I just go out and have fun,
Hey, you know what? That's
I enjoyed.
You got to continue to have fun
really
in this hobby.
Yeah, I really enjoyed producing the kits the years I did it with Eric Rule. Eric was just a great guy, and we had a great relationship. And I worked with him maybe 20 years, doing the kits and that type of thing. But when Eric sold the business, that kind of went away. So, as a matter of fact, Eric said that he might be on tonight, but I don't see him.
That'd be great. That'd be great. And let me say hi to Mark, and let me say hi to Lynn.
Hey, Charles.
Thank you guys for coming in. And Eddie, thank you for coming in, Eddie.
Hello.
Awesome. Getting off to a good start. So I didn't do any flying today. Actually, life got in the way. I actually been putting off some things on my Chevy Blazer, which is my most important vehicle that I have, because that's what hauls my airplanes around. So I had to do some services and some maintenance on it today, and I didn't even finish. I'm gonna probably continue on as soon as I can again to work on the Blazer, because that's how I get the contests and everything. So
that's right.
Yes.
Priorities.
Yes, and I don't want to pay a mechanic, $100 an hour.
I don't blame you.
Or 150 to a shop, so an hour. So that's so I do my own work.
Hey, Charles, is that Blazer electric or glow?
That's funny. It's glow.
Glow.
Actually, it's ignition. Actually,
There
but
you
it's, so it's an old time stunt vehicle. It's ignition.
Hey, at least it isn't rubber powered.
There you
Yes.
go.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, can I share a story with you guys?
Sure.
As my role in Pampa, I'm very excited about it, especially when I hear people say, you need to just let control line stunt, go take its natural course and go away and all that garbage. But anyway, there was a fun fly in South Jersey, which is maybe 45 minutes from me. And I know some of the guys in the group, and what it's an RC club that has cut a circle for control line guys. And they allow this event once a year where none of the RC guys fly, but they come out to watch. And I knew a lot of the people who came, and it was a great time. It was also a flea market. And it just gave me, it just reinforced my thought about some RC clubs who are absolutely out there to help other forms of aero modeling. So I'm walking around looking at different tents, and a guy stops me and he said, "I saw you on Charles' Friday night session." And I said, "Oh," I said, "I've been enjoying it. I try to do it Friday and Monday nights." And he said, "Well, I like what you had to say, and I like the forum. I'm gonna get on it more, but I'd like to join Pampa."
Wow.
And it
Great.
just,
That's awesome.
yeah. And we've had almost 50 new people since April 1st.
Great.
That's outstanding.
So I really felt good about it. It's not me. It's just it's people seeing someone who has a passion for this. But on the other side of this, which is kind of interesting, I got a multi-page letter from a well-known guy in the control line stunt community, a guy that I've really grown to like and admire. And he sent me a copy of a 2004 Stunt News. And he said, I sent you this on purpose. I want you to read it. And I wasn't involved in control line stunt back then. But it was about, I'd heard of two wars through a friend of mine. One of them, he said, was the Toon Pipe War. And the other war was, I'm sure Keith and others know about this, was the Brodak Wars. And in this issue, I read just some scathing comments about fellow flyers. I mean, really tough comments. And then there was an article toward the back of the magazine that was, I can't remember who wrote it, but you guys would know his name. I can't remember the name, and it's not important. But he said, this is 2004. He said, guys, we got to do something about building Pampa back up. Now, at the time, I think it was close to 1,600 members.
Wow.
Okay. So now it's 18 years later, and I'm not sure what has been done purposely, but here we are 18 years later, and we could write the same article. So I'm getting my notes together because one of the things I'm responsible for is to let people know that within a week of the general membership meeting and the executive committee meeting at the Nats, people have the right to know, and it's getting out tonight and tomorrow. And as I was going through that, it made me think about the agenda, and I know the primary mission of Pampa, and that is to preserve and protect and foster a control line stunt competition nationally and internationally, which is very important because I think that draws a lot of people, but not everyone. So in my notes, and I'll share them with you at another time because I don't want to bore you guys with it, but I absolutely believe that a lot of the future of Pampa has to do with each of us being an ambassador.
Yeah.
Each of us, I've worked at Triple Tree for 10 years now. We've put 3,000 people on the handle. Okay. But I'm not sure we've gotten 2 to stick. Okay. And the reason for that is when they leave Triple Tree in South Carolina, they have no one to talk to. If you have any comments about it, I'd love for you to share them with me, but I'm not at this point advocating that we start this great campaign to get kids. I experienced that kids without parents who are into this as much as they are, it's not going to work. I think there are a lot of people out there that, I'll give you a quick example and I'll stop talking. About the third year we were at Triple Tree and we were getting very busy. We had 620 flights in 1 week of people who just came down and said, I heard I could try control line. Well, what we got was Derek Barry and Bob Hunt did part of the halftime show in front of about 4,000 RCers. Now, these are guys with $20,000 and $30,000 and $40,000 turbine jets, teams from Germany. I mean, this is a huge event. And here we are with, 55-inch hand-built model airplanes. And Bob and Derek flew the pattern, okay, in separate circles in front of the main line. And when they were done, they got a standing ovation. So I know, and you know, that people who think they know what control line stunt is, don't.
Right.
They don't. And I think I'm just convinced we can build this back up, not to what the numbers were years ago. But don't tell me that we just have to let this thing go in a way. I'm just not willing to do that. So if you all could help and just be a good ambassador, and I hope you're all Pampa members. I don't check the roster to see who's a Pampa member and who isn't. And I never want to beat up anyone about whether they are or not. I just want to get it to the point with the district directors and everyone else that people will have no reason not to. They'll see the value.
Yeah.
But you got to get out. You got to go to the events. I was wearing my only Pampa shirt, and I didn't say anything about it, but people kind of came over to me and asked how it's going and all that. And I'm just very positive. I'm very excited about it. I'm looking forward to being at the Nats next week. I may not even bring an airplane, but I'm just trying to change the culture a little bit. That tomorrow is going to be a sunny day. Listen, thanks for your time. I just wanted to share that with you.
Yeah, that's no problem at all. Yeah, I'm trying to get people to even start to fly model airplanes. And one of the things that I've been doing is consistently, I try to get out to the flying field at least twice a week, because it's just being consistently out there. Because I have people who drive past me when I'm flying, and I know that sometimes they're going to work or going home or going to school or something. It might not be a good time, but I feel if I consistently stay out there, and I've had people come up and show up and even get a plane, like Joe Mata, who I fly with on a regular basis. He was one of those people but when he first saw myself, he saw me and Dave Sabon and Bob Hunt flying, and we was like, when one came down, the other person came up, and it was just like a machine.
Yep.
It was just efficiency that he thought we was professionals, and he thought it'd be rude to interrupt. So he actually approached me when I was by myself, because it's a much slower cadence, and that's how I got him. I told him about what's about, what it feels like. I try to explain to him that and invite him to come out, which I've done that over and over again. And some people will come back the next week or so. I met one person on a Friday. I told him about a contest. I drove him to a contest with me the next day.
Yeah.
So that does happen as well. But yeah, it's just being out there consistently. I'm trying to get, just so I can get people to actually come in and try the hobby. And then once they get in the hobby, then I got to get them to get the AMA insurance, and then I'm going to work on the Pampa. So it's like just get them to fly a plane.
Well, one of the things we're working on is, and in my mind, I can see a map of the United States with a little pin wherever there's a Pampa member. And it may not look like that, but guys in the district right now can't tell you, unless they're in a very remote area, who's in their district that's a Pampa member. So, I think one of the keys to this is that you find a person, and then you find someone like a Pampa member who's willing to give them a little bit of time, and show them the ropes. And I'm not saying this is easy but I'm thinking, can a Pampa member find one person a year? I don't know, but it doesn't seem outrageous to me. I just want to grow it. I want to see the Nats grow. I don't care what's happening with everyone else. I really don't. They have their own battles. I'm interested in control line stunt.
That's awesome.
So I love this forum, Charles. I love the guys that are on it. I was talking to a couple of them about all the stuff that Keith has brought up and stuff that I've learned in about 7 or 8 nights. And I've heard these names, and now I can say I know that guy.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank all of you for being on this thing, and for Charles for running it. It's been a great resource and very enjoyable.
I think it's just like being in a contest. John Miller, go ahead, my man, and welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks. Can you hear me?
I can hear you
Yes.
fine.
We sure can.
Okay. Mark, back in pre-2000, before the turn of the century, there was a movement in Pampa. I think Keith would remember this, where Pampa came up with a little trifold thing on control line stunt, and it had inside. It had the maneuvers, and that was the handiest. I used to throw, based on recommendations from whoever was publishing Pampa at that time. I'd throw 10 or 15 of them in my flight box and took one. Now, I was at the Whittier Narrows one time competing at a contest, and I noticed a group of people. They obviously were not modelers, but they were interested, but they didn't know what the heck we were doing. And, you know, we all know that watching stunt, if you don't know what's happening, is like watching paint dry. You know, and if you don't know what the judges are looking for, you know, it's a lost concept. So I've made it, and I'm sure many others did as well, but I made it my mission when I saw that to gather as many as wanted to get together, and I'd take them through a couple of flights of people who are flying and explain using the diagrams and the illustrations. I'd explain what was happening.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because I saw some of these same people later with their little thing, and they had somebody else and they were pointing out what was happening. Now, I don't know if anything came of that, but I think it's a good start if we start trying to figure out how to get the public, because we get the public, we'll get the people.
Well, I agree. I have a copy of that, and it's a very nice piece.
I've never seen it. You know, I would be willing to buy it if it was an item that was available through Pampa, like how you can buy other Pampa items.
Yep.
I would be willing to buy that trifold thing and pass it out, because what I do at my flying site, let me make myself big so you can see my card. I usually have I usually show this. This is my card I had printed out.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's actually a picture of me at Vortex flying my friend's tutor, the original tutor.
Yeah.
John Wright's tutor.
Yep.
Anyways, I usually have some of those with me at all times, and so when I'm at the flying circle, and people will come up to me, I give them my card and say, hey, if you have any questions, you can email me, you can text me, you know, and I do that just to kind of promote.
That's a good idea.
You know, and so, but I would love to give them a brochure, a trifold thing explaining what we do, what control line stunt is, or what control line is.
Yeah. But we're looking at that. And I think one really important part of that is that I want to have a line at the bottom of it, a blank line, where someone can sign their name, you know, and give them the website and the phone number. So it isn't just, you know, I hope to God this person, you know, does something. I think it just takes that hands-on work. But, you know, at this contest, there was several really good expert flyers. And I told every one of them about what I saw Keith do at the last meeting with that sphere.
Yeah.
You know, and his pipe cleaners. And I told him, I said, you need to get onto this thing, because I don't know when that program or programmers are going to be, but they were really excited about it. And I said, well, you know, tune in. So I'll stop, but thank all you guys, and anything you can do to not just to keep us alive, but, you know, to make us better and bigger. You know, let's all get active. I can't do it all, and I'm not smart enough to do it all, but I'll try.
If you can get that trifold brochure available for us to buy, I think that would be, you know, maybe a packet of 10 or 15, or we just would buy them, and
good idea.
Worthwhile.
Good idea. Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you. Hey, Sparky, thanks for coming in. I see your beautiful Minato, my goodness, that thing is, look at that.
Whoa.
That is
Outstanding.
pretty.
I'm getting it ready.
That's beautiful.
So have you boned that out yet, or that's not even boned out yet?
It's boned out. I'm polishing it up now.
I was actually just giving you a hard time. I know it was boned out.
Beautiful work.
Thank you. Speaking to you, Mark, we'll get together at the Nats. I need, the names of the district guys, and I mean, there's a whole lot of work that I can enter into Stunthangar, because all that stuff's all laid out already. And you were talking about a map with pins on it. I can do that.
Well, I'm looking forward to talking with you out there, Sparky. I'll be out there Saturday, and I'll be out there 8 or 9 days.
All right, we can do it. I'll bring my laptop. We can do that stuff sitting right there, at the meeting or whatever.
Okay.
Phil, you still got my stopwatch?
Do what?
You got
No, I gave that to Dennis Adamison to give back to you.
Okay. All right.
Hey, Robert, this is
Yeah.
Keith. The gold lettering on your airplane, how did you do the black outline on that?
With a rapidograph.
Okay, did you have to freehand some of the curves and that sort of thing?
It's all freehand.
Oh, okay, that's a good trick.
Yeah, make you big again, Sparky, so people can see the what he's talking about.
He's got a very steady hand, Keith.
Well, I was a sign painter and a pinstriper, so I should be able to do it.
Okay, then how expensive are you to hire you to come do mine?
Well, that's a long ways off.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's nice.
If you look at, I did the video on Gold Leaf Made Easy on this airplane on the channel. If you look on my channel, Gold Leaf Made Easy. And the way I did it is not the way a sign painter would do it, because they use sizing, and I didn't want to mix sizing with dope because I didn't know what kind of reaction would have. So I used dope as sizing. And that the sizing is basically the glue that sticks the gold leaf down. So I just put a lot of retarder in the dope and shot it on with a stencil, and then laid the leaf in, and then went around with a rapidograph, 050 rapidograph, and then sprayed clear over it. It's I got a lot of flack from the sign painters on that, but hey, it worked. So because they wanted me to, do it the old. I got art quills and I got sizing, but I don't think that would have worked for my application. So
Well, here's what I did. I basically, sprayed on the color, the silver and the gold.
Charles, make him big. He's going.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Just 1 second.
And
There we go.
I used a straight edge for the straight lines, and I didn't even do a very good job of keeping that uniform. And then when it came to all the curves, that was freehand and less than what I really wanted it to be. But
It looks good.
Looks
Sure
pretty
does.
good to me.
maybe on the picture, but from here, not so good. So
Well, it's probably because you know where all the deficiencies are. You did it, so you know where it's just not to your liking, but it looks good. And I saw that plane in person. I thought it looked fantastic.
Yeah, I did too. That was a gorgeous airplane.
If you look at any sign paint, freehand sign lettering thing, Keith, they all have imperfections in them.
okay,
So if people got a bitch about it, you just tell them you're standing too close. Stand back.
okay. That makes
There
me
you go.
That makes me feel a little bit better. Not much, but a little bit better.
Even the best sign painters, Von Dutch and all them guys in the striping, do you know how pinstriping came about, the swirly patterns? It's because back in the 50s, the body men would take a grinder and grind, their body work and then sand it and then paint it. And then they'd have these swirl marks in it. And they'd take their car to Von Dutch and say, hey, can you hide these? And he would take his striping brush and just go right over the swirl marks of the grinder. That's how all those designs came about.
Ha.
So there's no set rule in pinstriping or outlining. So it
Keith?
looks fine to me.
Keith, can I throw something crazy in? I've seen your airplane since I've seen them up close and really studied them. Some of them since 1977 when I met you at the team trials, and you ain't got nothing to worry about.
Well, thank you for that. Hey, not to change the subject, Mark.
Yes.
When I still working with Pampa a little bit, I had thought of an idea. This is a little booklet that Dick Mathis published.
Ah.
And it's only like 20 or 30 pages about how to get started in stunt and basics and so forth, and then going through the pattern.
Wow.
It'd be neat if somehow we could make this available to the members, or
Well, that would be,
I thought maybe part of the initial dues, this could be part of the package they get as a member.
that's a great idea. I love it where it says you control. That's wonderful.
Yeah, and Dick Mathis had a great way of explaining things. He's down to earth. He's a good writer. It's illustrated. It had some neat stuff in there. I don't know if this shows up.
Yeah, it's showing up.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, and goes back to the days of Fast Richard, if people remember.
Yeah, I remember Fast Richard.
Yeah, and here's some getting into flying the pattern. Anyway, there's like 30 pages, and I don't know if I have an extra copy. Maybe I can send you this one, Mark, and you can see what it is.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
I've never even heard of that book.
I hadn't either, but I sure like to have one.
Yeah, same here.
But there'll be something, if we can ever get Pampa publishing going again, the Dick Morris books on old time and classic stunt design.
Yeah, really.
Because people are asking me about that all the time. And that's invaluable stuff. And we need to keep it going.
Absolutely. Thank you, Keith. That's awesome.
This is the only book I was familiar with is this book. See, how do I place?
Well, that's Charles Mackey's book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Keith, did Dick Mathis do the Excalibur?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
There were two of them that he did.
Yeah. One had a razor, just a pointed leading edge, and the other one was very rounded.
I think only the one with the Excalibur one was classic Lego, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it flew real well. You just took your sandpaper a little bit more on the leading edge and kind of blended a little bit more, and it took care of any flying problem you'd have with a sharp leading edge.
Yeah, you didn't have to put much of a radius on it, and it fixed it.
Yeah.
Took care of it pretty well.
Let me greet some other people who came in. Hey, Phil, thank you for coming in. I appreciate that. And
Sure.
Ed Carlisle, and then Carl Reed and
Lynn
Burrell.
I
Lynn
see
Burrell,
Mike Griffin.
and then Dennis Adamison, and then Mike Lonke. Thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate it. And then on the chat, we have Ed Carlisle said, like sent. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ed. So you're a VIP as well as Dennis Adamison is a VIP. And Gary, he's not here because he's on vacation with his family and having fun. So he came in just to let us know what's going on with him. And then Jeff Riley said, enjoy, Gary. And then Tom Rammel gave us a like. So he's watching. And then Dennis Adamison said, like delivered. looks like a full house already. Yes, we have 14 already in-house. So
Wow.
so we're gonna have to be careful to not step on each other's words. I know we all want to say something. Just be patient. If you want to raise your hand, or even you can actually digitally raise your hand. Now we're up to 15 people. Howard, thank you for coming in, Howard. Appreciate that. So again, if you want to say something, raise your hand, and I will eventually acknowledge you. Just give me a moment to say. And hi, Ed Carlisle. What do you want to say?
You were saying you carry a card with you, and this is what, whether you can see it or not, this is what I carry.
Okay.
Our club members carry.
Oh, that's great.
You know, our club charter. I don't know what it's got a charter number. I got our club name and my information, my phone number.
Yes, that's a good idea.
So all of our club members carry them. You know, when we run into people. I didn't have any on me yesterday when I saw Mark, or I gave him one too.
Yes, you did. It's good to see you.
Same here. So.
Thank you, Ed.
Like Mark and I were talking yesterday, that you know, it's hard to get young kids to come in. We taught a class for 4 or 5 years, me and a couple other gentlemen, you know, where we fly, and we had like 40 kids and their parents, and we don't have a one now.
Yeah.
They built the planes, and you know, they learned how to fly, and they just kind of disappeared. You know, I don't know what to do. We don't know what to do to keep their interest peaked. You know, I mean, they're great when they're there, but when they go away from the field, you know, you don't see them come back. And, and like Mark was saying yesterday, you have to have the parents to stay involved also. And I think probably that was our biggest downfall, trying to keep the parents involved. So
the door.
Close
the door.
I don't know what the solution
Keep the cat out.
either. So
well, we'll figure it out. I really believe that.
Let me let John Miller go ahead and get into the conversation. Go ahead, John.
Thanks, Charles. Mark, I've got two things. Mark, first thing is a little trifold. You look at it, it's all folded up. There's a yellow twin in one of the pictures on the front.
Yep.
That's Gordon Delaney's Gemini in its original colors.
Oh, nice.
So just so you know. Okay. Now, about kids. I think we've been chasing kids since that was what we remember as kids being so. But I think the people we want to look at are people who are already flying, either RC or free flight. Also, people who are getting ready to retire or into that age group in the 50s on up.
Yeah,
those are the guys I think that where we'll find them, and so that's just been my what I've found locally here. Of course, where I'm at, I'm the only guy here. I was just looking up how to make a good stooge because I don't have anybody to launch anymore. My launcher died, so so anyway. But hopefully that'll change once I start burning up and making some noise.
Yeah. John, that's a great comment. And I'll tell you, one of the joys we have that we have at Triple Tree is these people come down and we're the only place that you could fly someone else's airplane at Triple Tree. And of course, we don't have overfly problems. But I can't tell you, I bet it's been 2,000 people that have said, I didn't know you guys still do this. I have a ringmaster in my garage that, you know, where the dust is into the Fox, you know, for 25 years. And they are so excited to know that we're still around.
Yeah.
Of course, I lose touch with them. But I agree with you. You know, I'd rather see a grandfather get re-excited about this and come out and start flying. And then maybe a son or a grandson might find some interest. I think going the other way is a mistake.
Well,
Mark, there was someone at the Brodac meeting. He talked about a group of people that didn't occur to me at first, but he said they already have the manual dexterity. They already have all the. Remember that group of people? that is a good niche we really aren't really pursuing. And a gentleman stood up in the meeting and he said that he's found that these people are really good candidates because they have the dexterity already and everything else.
Yeah.
I just want to ask a question real quick. Dennis, you got my stopwatch?
Do I have what again?
You got my stopwatch?
Dennis,
Stopwatch.
when we were leaving Brodak, and I still had Sparky's stopwatch. You said you were going back up there. That yellow stopwatch.
Yeah, I gave that to somebody. Who did I give that to? I gave that to either Mark or John or Will.
Not me. It must have gone to Will.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Will who?
Yeah, it was Will because I
Will
noticed
Davis.
the other stopwatches had his Metrolina club or whatever, and this one did not. It looked just like the others, but it didn't have that.
Yep.
Hey, you think
Okay,
you'll
so
bring
Will
it back?
Davis.
I need that back. I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
I have one.
I'll talk to Will.
I'm not even
try to
sure where
talk to him.
where the watch came from. So
I'll talk to Will tomorrow.
mhm.
See about getting that back to you. But I know Will's going to the Nats.
No, he's not.
He's not.
No.
What happened? Oh shoot.
He's still working. He can't take all those weeks off. He won't be
shoot.
there. Yeah.
Okay. Last I talked to him, he was talking about still going, but that's been a while that I talked to him about that.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Shucks. Okay. Well, I'll talk to him tomorrow or Wednesday because I'm working on a little project and he's helping me out with it, some information. So I'll give him a call.
Okay.
John, go ahead, John. John Miller, go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to get it in here while we're still close to the subject. One of the reasons that I've become convinced that we should start looking at going the other way than the young kids is my friend Dan McEntee from St. Louis. He has been involved with the control line flight operations at the EAA in Oshkosh for years.
Uh-huh.
He's probably got 20,000 flights. Might be a little exaggerated, but he's got lots of them.
Yep.
And I believe he's made note that he's had very few people stay, young kids stay with it.
Yep.
So that seems to cement the issue for me.
It does. I agree with you.
And one more thing, I've been reading about the junior problem since the 1950s.
There you go. There you go.
There's always, if the spark is there for a young person to want to mess around with model airplanes, the spark is there.
Yep.
You can only show them maybe what it is, but that's about all you can do about it.
Yep. I agree with you.
And
Well, the juniors do not have the kind of financial or any kind of independence that they can do this without a lot of involvement from a parent or uncle or somebody like that.
Yeah.
So I agree that it's probably more prudent to go after retreads and things like that. I just answered a letter. I answer a lot of letters for Brodak. There's somebody hasn't flown control line in 40 years and he's set to build a ringmaster and wanted to know how to make it electric. And so they sent him my letter and stuff like that. But here we go. And that's not by any means an unusual letter. You get letters like that all the time. People have been away and they're trying to get back.
That's how I got back into it. My brother saw an article in a little browser that we have back in 2009. Mike Lonke and the guys were putting on a fly-in, and I'm like, holy crap! I thought it was dead, because our stuff, like you said, been down in the basement for 25 years, and pulled out the old shoestring and took it out there and drove her in the ground and put it back together and took it back out the next week. But yeah, I mean,
It's a real wild card. Any of you guys members of the EAA? Okay. Reason I asked, I joined a few years ago when they were off. There were some other perks on the side, and I just really enjoy the magazine and everything like that. EAA is one of our best ambassadors. Home builders almost universally started off building model airplanes, radio, free flight, everything like that. Maybe there's a ants, and of course EAA has their their Young Eagles push where they're trying to interest kids in aviation and things like that. Maybe one answer would be for those of us with an EAA chapter nearby and stuff like that, it may be possible to work that angle, work that side of the Young Eagles. But and also knowing that a lot of the chapter members are probably former modelers, maybe even current modelers, and there might be a way to grow it, rekindle some of that.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Very good idea.
It sounds a little silly, but I'm not sure it is. That I think if someone's going to be serious about getting into this, they probably need a car. They probably need a car.
That's right. They need somebody to run them around and everything like that.
Well, I've seen parents do that, but I think it's more for babysitting. I think it's more in their interest than the child. But I just want to go the other way. I think it's just a frustrating way to go, to start with the kids and go the other way. But there are a lot of people out there. We can get them.
I have a hand raised by Paul Taylor. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I was just going to respond to what Dennis was saying. So EAA, they do a lot yet of promote the kids and stuff. This year at Oshkosh, I've done it a couple of years, but we're going up this year and we're going to fly the kids all week long. I know Dan McAtee's going as well, but I mean we'll fly 300 kids, and when I say kids, I'm talking from like 3 years old to 80 years old, all day long for the whole week. I know that they log. They do log the flights, how many flights they put up, and they'll post that at the end of EAA. But Chris Sterner is running that now, and I think Dave Siegler's helping him, and they're I think they're with the Milwaukee
Circle Masters.
Yeah, the Circle Masters. Yep.
But I mean, there's a lot of people exposed to it at Oshkosh.
Well, that'd be a great place to have that trifold, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
You betcha.
Not this year, that wouldn't. But
and we do have Joe Conley's going to be riding up with me. I'm going to pick him up in Silver Lake. He's up there in age, but they do have somebody that sits at kind of like a ambassador table all day. And so Joe will be doing that the day that I'm up there.
Yep. Well, there are challenges, and one of the things that I'm working with on the district directors is if you find someone who has the interest or used to have the interest and wants to come back, part of the real issue is where do you go to get supplies? Who's building a kit? What's the price of balsa wood? If you have an IC engine, where do you get fuel? And that's part of the package. And so I'm asking these guys to know where every hobby shop is, to write down maybe a dozen sources that are online. I mean, Thunder Power batteries, for example. I'm just talking out loud for those going electric. So, it's not a simple thing, but it can be done. It absolutely can be done. So I'm going to see if I can find that brochure.
Oh, that'd be great. And Jerry and Mike Griffin, if you have a question, you can either raise your hand or you can actually, there's a down there in your toolbar, I think you can hit raise your hand digitally, if I'm not mistaken. And
it's under reactions.
Under reactions. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. So I know we have 16 of us in here, and it might be kind of difficult, but if you go to reactions and do hand raise, I will eventually see it. And you'll be able to get a word in somehow. Just be patient. That goes for everybody, anybody. I'm doing my best to keep up with you guys. Oh, there we go. Jerry's actually physically raising his hand. Go ahead, Jerry.
Well, I'd just like to back up those that are saying it's probably wiser to go after the older generations rather than kids, unless you have grandkids or something. So you've got grandpa to mentor them. But a lot of the RC flyers that are of retirement age started off with control line. And, they see the control line still alive. They might pull out some of those planes and start flying control line again. And one of the things that we did when the RC club or I should say the club we belong to, which is primarily RC, when they were considering building a control line circle to draw us in. And they came around to the control line club and said, if we build it, will you come? Which we did. But to help build a relationship, once we got the circle built, we did the Ringmaster Flyathon, and Chris Brainerd built several Ringmaster trainers with foam wings that are taped in. So if somebody crashed, just pull a wing out, stick another one in, tape it up, and take off again. And that seemed to really build a relationship between us and the RC guys. And some of the RC guys then built, a Flight Streak or a Ringmaster or whatever, and started flying with us some. So, those guys have been interested before. They're more likely to be interested again than I think somebody brand new.
That's all a good idea.
Hey, Charles, can you make me big again?
Yes, let me do that.
Okay. I don't know if you'll be able to see this.
Oh, yeah.
There's Gordon's twin.
Yep. And then let me move it back a little bit. And on the other side.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep.
You give one of these to the people that you're talking to, and they can look at that and listen, and you explain to them what they're doing. It's a real quick lesson, and it makes them watching this pattern a whole lot more interesting to them.
It is, and I like the front. I think it was Tom Morris's address on there, but it's nice to have it as a mailer.
Oh, yeah.
Online if someone wants something. And so I thought I had this, and I can't remember who I got it from, but it's a valuable piece.
Yeah,
that it is.
So I'll see what I can do about getting it out, at least to you guys.
If you can think about it, you ought to consider packages of 10, 25, and even maybe 50, because some of us see enough people. I myself would be looking at the 50 pack.
Okay. Let me see what I can do. I have a very good friend who's a printer who always gives me good deals. It's something like this and what Keith talked about on someone joining and they got something in their hand other than a receipt for $40.
Yeah.
So great. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
That must be Howard.
Yes,
That's
Howard practicing with his new dog.
And I thought he's going to give us a demonstration about his new stand.
Yeah.
That he talked about. So we'll have to ask him about that when he gets down.
Yeah.
I've seen his new stand. I thought it was pretty neat.
Is that the one that was for a piano, for the digital piano?
No, that was somebody else did that, but Howard had a real neat I call it a U-shaped stand, and he had a couple of suggestions on there on how to protect your airplane in the stand. People are using like wrap ties to hold the foam on it. If the wrap tie is in the wrong place, it can become a source of damage.
You mean the piano stand like I've been using for the last 5 years?
Yeah, I've heard someone mentioned that too, that was a good thing to hold the plane.
That's it.
I have a couple comments from the chat box. One I don't understand because it's in some other script. I don't know what it is. But then we have old control line pilot. He says, like posted, have a great night. That's Bob Whitley up in Canada. Thank you, Bob.
Oh.
And then Tom Rammel, he says, I am a member of EAA chapter 878 in Maple Lake. Also former president of EAA chapter 878. We have some outreach to local schools with RC airplanes. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that a lot of the RC clubs are now beginning to include control line circles as part of their operations?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's great for the hobby myself.
Yeah, we have not, Wes and I have not been able to get anybody converted, but I can tell you every single time we fly, we got somebody stop by and watch what we're doing and make the comments, and a lot of, I used to do that and stuff. Well, you can do it again, you know. And so far we've only ever had one guy came over and flew Wes's ringmaster, and he went back and you haven't seen him since and whatever else, but he was still competent enough to fly the airplane and everything like that. But,
Yeah.
a lot of people are interested, but we haven't been able to quite get them over the edge, you know.
Dennis, if I saw you and him together, I wouldn't join.
That's wait a minute. I've been kicked out of better clubs than this.
All right.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for the vote of confidence there. All right.
No problem.
Well, let's see. What I'll do then is I'll say, this is Pampa. They won't let me join. How's that?
No problem. Listen, if I have to, I'm going to prisons, you know, and I'll have a captive audience.
Yeah, that's true.
Ah, geez.
There's Howard.
Howard, I muted you. I was trying to get rid of some background noise, so you need to unmute yourself. Unfortunately, I can't do that for you.
There was a club in the state maximum security penitentiary, the Walla Walla Clipped Wings. And, they had some contests. We went over there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I remember hearing about that.
This is control line or RC?
Control line. They didn't want them flying RC. They figured they'd go out and pick up contraband with it.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
But they could fly a control line. Wow, that's amazing.
It was we had a pretty good time. One of the guys escaped and turned up somewhat later out at the flying field.
He wanted a better circle, huh?
That's it.
Yeah, that's funny.
Show us.
Well, that's a summary of what happened. I think there was some legal stuff in the middle, but yeah.
Show us your new stand, Howard.
Well, I'm standing on my own 2 feet here. Is that what you're talking about?
No. The one that your airplane sits on.
One the airplane sits on. It's over here with the airplane sitting on it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Useful.
Yeah.
Make it big. Hang on a second. Got so much going on. Just bear with me. I'll make it big, and you can go over the. Go over how you made it, and
I feel bigger already. It's made out of a 1-inch PVC pipe and pipe fittings, and got some casters from Harbor Freight on the bottom, and a tray, which Jim Hoffman recommends too, and some pipe insulation for pads here.
Yeah.
Or you can use swimming pool noodles too. That's probably a little better.
now are those that foam glued on, or is it just rest there?
They should be, but it's not.
Okay.
Well, it deteriorates after a while. So, and did you see my Keith Trossel Zurich sunglasses.
I saw them. I have a couple pairs of those. I need to buy a new one because my finish is all kind of scratched up.
Yeah,
But they work excellent. You can actually look through the sun and do your maneuvers. You just got to get used to being able to do that.
Yeah, and I had a blind spot a few minutes ago. The airplane went behind the shop, or on my side of the shop, and the sun was on the other side, and the sun was in my eyes, and the airplane was in the shadow. I couldn't see it.
Wow.
But it came out the other side, so I guess I held level pretty well.
What's a neat stand? I like it.
Thank you.
Is that your backyard, Howard?
Yeah.
And where do I park the camper, Howard? Where's the camper go?
In the helipad. It's over there.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll be there next Thursday.
I won't be home. You ought to go to the Nats instead. It's get better wind there.
Yeah, you get a lot of it.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you get a lot, but it's smooth.
Yeah. We've
In
been
one
having a
direct-
lot lately. I got blown out this morning. I was out practicing. It just got to be no fun. So.
Oh, I'm not having that much fun here, but I better.
Yeah.
More stunt. Okay. Well, talk to you guys. Bye.
So tell me about any updates on your new dog. Did you make any trim adjustments or anything to it?
Trimming all the time.
All right. That's one way to get.
So if the airplane's never trimmed out, you just retire it at some time.
Yeah. So far, I'm still trimming.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Howard, does that stand break down at all to transport it?
The top comes off. I take that to contests, but
okay.
There's some connectors here.
Oh yeah, there you go.
They're not glued.
Okay, thank you.
That's a great question, Mark.
Yes.
I didn't think about that.
That's a heck of a question, and I should have mentioned that before. And yeah, I like the idea of the keyboard stand that it could fold up and go in the car and be tall when you get to the contest. I have to get down on the ground when I get to the contest, which is hard for an older person.
Thank you.
Hey, Howard, sometime one of these sessions after the Nats and all that, maybe you could go over your experience with boost tabs on your flaps.
Yes, I can do.
Ooh, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see them here, do you?
No.
At least you tried it. At least you have personal experience, so you know they're not up to your liking.
Yeah. The summary is I found an old NACA report that said these things work better around neutral than they do full deflection, which is opposite of what you want. And I couldn't figure out how to gear them. So I had lunch with this guy, this PhD guy who does Boeing's flight controls mechanisms. And I said, I'd like to get like a 4-bar linkage to make this kind of dead round neutral and do more at full deflection. And I started talking about it, and he determined that I was incapable of counting to 4. So he kind of gave up on it.
Oh, jeez.
Well,
Ouch.
some of the guys on the forum talk about these logarithmic control systems and all that.
Oh, this has that. This has this has the Igor system in it.
Okay.
Which the flap deflections peter out at high elevator deflections, and that gives you more leverage over the flaps at high deflection, and more leverage over hinge moment. So it does pretty much what the boost tabs were intended to do. So
how much does that weigh, Howard?
69 ounces.
Is that with or without the big glob of clay on the tip?
Well, that's just 2 grams, I think.
Oh.
You have zigzag tape on your wings?
You bet.
What percentage?
8, I think.
Okay.
Wow.
And that's about the place transition happens naturally at square corners.
Okay.
So
well, I started out with 15 based on what David Fitzgerald was talking about. He said you might want to go to 10. And I tried 15 and there was a noticeable difference then when I went to 10. Yeah.
And the battery layer gets thicker as you go aft. And
yeah,
I wanted to, well, I bought this stuff. This is polyurethane car nose protector. Cut with a vinyl cutter.
Yeah.
Like,
Howard, with that design on that wing, you need to get your little Cubert sticker and put on there.
oh yeah, that last airplane. This is yeah, this didn't come out too well. Well, the perspective didn't come out right.
Yeah,
I'm no artist. This anyhow, this material is supposed to be 10 thousandths thick, and it's only 7 thousandths. You probably want it a little thicker if you put it farther back. David,
Howard,
yeah.
Howard, pardon my ignorance, but does that make the airflow more turbulent, or is it less turbulent?
More.
More, okay.
Namely, the airflow will, it starts out laminar and then it naturally goes to turbulent.
Okay.
but it's delays separation, I think then.
This tells it when to change from laminar.
Okay, thank you.
But it'll stay attached longer before it separates.
Ah, okay.
It feels better when you fly stunt.
Yeah.
That's not what I can tell.
Yeah.
Which is kind of mainly
Sure. Thank
partly
you.
psychological. Oh, speaking of psychological stuff, look at that. I got the fashionable elevator doodads.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that. Now, have you varied the width of those? I see those are only about 2 inches wide.
Yes, I have. And I had wide ones on in Las Vegas and Tucson. And then I came home when it was cool and low altitude and used a lot of battery. So I took them out. That was the other dog, though. I can't tell much difference one way or the other. It doesn't hurt anything. It looks like they're doing something. So
I haven't tried those yet. I have to remember to try those, and that trip strip, and I still haven't tried the Vortex generators as well.
Hey, Howard?
Yeah.
You got any more of that pinking tape that you got on there?
I don't know. I got some made out of another material.
Clear?
Yeah.
What do you want for them? I'd like to try them on my airplane.
You going to bed?
Nothing. I'll give you some.
Okay, tow them to the nest, please.
Yeah. I'll take some.
No, as far as the zigzag shape, it looks sexy and everything like that, but there's really, I think, some controversy about whether it needs that. I've got Michael Seelig, Dr. Michael Seelig, who's the guy who did all of the low Reynolds number tests on sailplane, RC sailplane airfoils.
Yeah,
published his work, and he said that he could not find any difference between a zigzag strip or a just a straight tape stripe. And he also noted that a previous study had found and recommended the zigzag, but he couldn't duplicate those results. But in either way, he was fond of trip strips on just about everything. So
I probably saw the previous study. Some guys in the Netherlands
I'm not sure. I got the book. I could look it up, but yeah.
Yeah.
It was his work. And he said that he could not find any difference between a zigzag strip or a just a straight tape stripe. And he also noted that a previous study had found and recommended the zigzag, but he couldn't duplicate those results. But that way he was fond of trip strips on just about everything.
Yes. I probably saw the previous study, some guys in the Netherlands.
I'm not sure. I got the book. I could look it up, but yeah.
Yeah.
It was his work.
Yeah. We're in a loop. I was talking.
What happened?
I don't know what happened. I don't know.
I looked at one paper. I thought it was from Seeling's posse that it showed various shapes of trip strips, and the shapes corresponded to the kinds of pinking shears you could buy on Amazon.
Yeah,
there you go.
I believe that.
Hey, Howard, just for our audience clarification, can you actually point to the trip strip so that people know what we're talking about? Can you focus in a little bit on it? It says just there. There we go. Oh, if I saw it for a second. Yeah. Okay.
Might be able to see it if the lights.
There, that shows.
There we go. There we go. Thank you, Howard. And I have a comment from John Lytle. He said, guess so. He's talking about, he tried the chat on YouTube and he asked if it works. And I said, yes, John. And he said, okay, guess so. Yesterday, a jogger ran through my flight path, a moron. The thing is, if I hit him, I lose the field. Maybe an attack trained baboon would keep the dummies away. Yeah, I don't know. I actually put a perimeter of safety cones around my circle.
Yeah.
You might want to try that, John. But I have, when I'm by myself, I'm a little bit more nervous, but I might have Carl, who's here tonight, and Joe Mata with me, and they kind of watch the circle while I'm flying. But when you're by yourself, it is a little bit, creates a little bit of anxiety, as I have a high school right across from my flying site. But I at least try. I put a perimeter of cones that's about 90 feet radius. So there's a little bit of a barrier before they actually get into the circle. And I did have one kid roll up on me one time, and I just happened to catch him in my peripheral vision. He was right next to me by the time I realized this is my circle. And I was like, what are you doing here? Where was your mom and dad? There was a tournament going on. So I was taking a chance to fly. But yeah, John, just I think not all of us, but some of us have experienced these people that they clueless. They don't even see the flying lines. They must think it's an RC plane or something, but they just come right into our circle or into our flight path.
Yeah.
And if we hit them, we lose the field. So it's a very precarious situation.
Same field that John flies at. And yes, we had all these problems. We put out the cones and stuff, and I mowed the field, and that attracted golfers. So the golfers would come and hit golf balls, and we'd have to negotiate with them. And my my solution was, I told them, look, if I find golf balls, I'll leave them over here, so you can have all the golf balls that I find, as if I can fly when I come. And that worked out for a while. Yeah, I'm glad we don't have to fly. It was a long way from home too. Oh my goodness. John,
I'm fixing to get out of here. I'll see y'all later.
Hey, thank you, Eddie, for coming in. Appreciate it. And Mike Griffin had to bail out too. He had to go. Thank you for coming in, guys. Appreciate it.
Hi, guys. Yeah, it probably takes John 2 hours to get there from his house.
Wow.
Good grief.
Wow, that is motivated.
Yeah.
I don't know if I drive 2 hours to go fly.
He's up there most days, I think.
Wow. Yeah. And we have Stuart. Hey, Stuart, you figured out how to change the Apple. Thank you very much, Stuart. I appreciate that. This is now are you Stuart who I spoke to earlier on the chat?
Or sorry?
There was a Stuart earlier, Stuart Morrison.
Yep, that's me.
Okay. All right, cool. I didn't know if it was another guy who wanted to know how to get in or not. So it was you. Okay.
I couldn't remember. I was on last Friday, but I couldn't remember how to get back on again. But I figured I got it.
No worries. If you ever need help, just do what you did. That way I can steer you to the right place. And for our audience, if you're interested in coming in, the only way, unless I know you, is to come into Stunthangar Forum. And if you find the At the Bench link, there will be a link there with today's date. Now, you have to be a registered member to be able to find At the Bench. It won't appear if you're not logged into Stunthangar or if you're not a member of Stunthangar. You can go into Stunthangar, but you won't see At the Bench unless you're logged in as a member. So let's see here. And we're back. So Stuart, Stuart Morrison, do you fly, and what class do you fly in?
Beginner.
Oh, great.
I'm at the beam field with Len.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, good. Well, at least you're around an expert. That's always good to have someone who can help you. Have you let Len fly your planes?
Sorry?
Have you let Len fly your plane?
Yeah, he gives them to me.
Okay.
Oh,
that's a good thing. The guys that I help, I actually fly their planes for them just to make sure there's no monkey business with them, make sure they turn the same and can fly inverted and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's one advantage of having someone there. When you're out there by your lonesome with no expert help, you don't know what you have really going for you and what you're missing.
Len's been training me, so it's been good that way. It's been good.
You're very, very fortunate.
You don't need to listen to Len. You need to listen to Naomi.
Yeah.
Thanks, Stuart. Yeah, listen to Naomi.
Yeah, I'll tell her that tomorrow.
I just got to ride Len. I like him. He's crazy.
Phil.
Yes, sir.
You still working on that tapered wing?
I sure am. I'm back on it. I had to quit for about 4 weeks while I was working on. Well, they're still working on the shop. They finished my shop today, but now they got to bring in a big machine and pick it up and move it, because instead of building it where I wanted it built, they built it back at the back of the lot. The only problem is that's not my land.
That is a problem.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, gee whiz.
So
well, I was just curious.
To move that. No, I've got to sheet it. I've sheeted the trailing edge, but I got to sheet the leading edge. And then the only modification I'm making to that wing is I'm sheeting the last two bays, between the two bays, the last two bays on the tip, out at the tip. I'm gonna sheet that because I found
not a bad idea. Stiffens the wing up.
Yeah, stiffens it up a little bit, and that's a wing that's. I'm doing this wing instead of the other one because the other one wasn't stiff enough. So I thought if I can add a little bit to it, what the heck? Couldn't hurt. It might help. But I got the landing gear blocks in it today, and I got it's tomorrow. I got to start sheeting. I got to pick the wing up off the table so I can use the table to cut the sheeting, because it's 4 inches at the root, but it's, I don't remember what it is, tip 2 1/4, 2 3/8, something like that. I don't remember, but it's an odd size. But no big deal. Just cut it, and I got 36-inch pieces. It's just big enough that what I don't use on the wing, I can get the excess I need to flip over and put in the center. So it all worked out beautiful.
Cool.
So it worked out. I got maybe a 1/16 of an inch wood left. So it worked out exactly, or pretty darn close. You still got some scrap, but you're going to cut the wing out over here, and then your tip's going to start kind of in the center of that and go to the tip, go to the end of the wood. So you're going to have some scrap, but I don't worry about that. Whatever scrap I got, I put in the box and give it to some free flight friends of mine. They fly these microfilm airplanes and that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
I gotta find a source. If anybody knows any, I gotta find a good source for some good 1/16, because my stash of 1/16 is just about depleted.
You don't have a stripper?
No. I mean 1/16 by 3 by 36.
Oh, I was thinking you're talking free flight, and I was thinking 1/16 inch square balls.
No. I can give these guys pieces 12, 13 inches long, and they're tickled to death. I mean, he was willing to buy it. Drove up here from below Charlotte, over an hour away, and was willing to pay me for it. I said, no. This is just stuff I would have thrown away if I didn't know you guys needed it. So have at it. I just like to see some of your airplanes. I'd like to come watch you fly sometime, because I love those things. I just don't have the patience to build them. I've built 2 of those, one night 28s, and one of them absolutely wouldn't do anything but turn big circles and go into the ground, and the other one flew away. So I don't have the patience for it. He said, well, you're supposed to put a dethermalizer on. Oh, it had one. It just didn't work.
I bought some Balsa at Balsa Specialties.
Balsa Specialties. Where are they? California?
No, I forgot where they're from, but Jim, the guy that passed away last year,
Jim Smith.
Jim Smith. And that's what he recommended. And I tried them. It's kind of pricey when you specify the weight you want. They just mark it up, quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, it's all expensive now. I mean, nothing's cheap anymore.
But they have it. I mean, they'll if you specify
Balsa
this.
Specialties. Okay, I'll write that down.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
they have, like, you go to their website, you'll see the regular price, and then when you request whatever you request, and it just, you'll
keeps
see
going
it.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I ended up paying like 300% markup for 5-pound wood.
Yeah.
Brodak is the only place I can remember that I know of where you can go. And if you want to, I told him I need 30 sheets of 3/32. And he took me back there and he puts a stack of balsa in front of me. He says, pick you out 30 sheets. You can weigh it. You can do whatever you want to do. Pick the A, B, C grain. I mean, it's the only place I've ever seen do that. They're great. And I meant to do it while I was up there, and I just flat ran out of time. It was like,
Sparky already probably got all the prime wood out of there anyway. So,
well, it wouldn't surprise me. I know Sparky. I know how he operates. He
would have picked through it and got all the good wood.
Superior Balsa in the LA area used to, I think it was Hawaiian Gardens, used to allow you to go in there and do that.
Yeah. Where I used to get some really good stuff when, remember Lone Star? What do we got here?
Daredevil, huh? Is that a Daredevil, Mark?
Oh, you've heard of this?
No, I just read the box.
Oh.
Daredevil. I hadn't heard of that one.
Well, I'll tell you.
Combats.
This is at the New Jersey contest yesterday. There was a gentleman who brought very old kits. I've never heard of this. It's Darwin Company made. It's called the Daredevil.
Oh, Daredevil, excuse me.
And it has the original price, I guess, on it of $395.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it was a raffle item, and you bought tickets for the RC club that had the thing. But it's really interesting. Here is the vertical stab. It's two.
Interesting.
It's 2 pieces of aluminum that capture the horizontal stab.
Wow.
Okay.
I never seen anything like that.
No.
Get that cut off.
I mean, it's a 2-piece fuselage. A little bit warped, but I can work with that. Let me just show this to you. But the cutout is for the bell crank and the wing.
Wow.
All right. And then there's no flaps, but the elevators, I shouldn't say that. Here are the flaps, but if you look closely, let me see if I can do this. They're hinged. You see the little hinge right there?
Yeah. My goodness.
Oh, I see the hinge. Okay.
And he has wire, so this matches the trailing edge of the wing. And it's already hinged. It's God knows the amount of effort that went into the kit. But it's kind of fascinating. Here's the I guess they made fuel tanks for it. And I don't know how old it is. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it.
Before my time.
Yeah, but it's amazing. There's the bell crank, and lead outs are already on there.
My goodness.
You know
Look at
Gary
that.
Lutz?
I'm sorry?
You know Gary Lutz shows
Yes,
up?
I do.
He used to work for Darwin.
Oh, I'll be darned. I didn't know that.
And he had one of those. He brought it to Brodax, had it in his car to show off. But yeah, all the features you're showing there, he didn't show the kit. He had the completed airplane. But
Did it
he used to
fly?
work for the Darwin company. So
Did it fly, Dennis?
I guess it looks like it should fly well. I mean,
Yeah.
comparable to any of the Ringmaster class airplanes
Yeah.
and stuff. And it certainly looks serviceable. It was made so the wings could be, you could break a wing and bolt a new one on and stuff like that.
Right.
And,
That's right.
and the bell crank integrity was always there. And like you say, you could swap out the tail real easy. And that little sheet aluminum fin is just cute. Doesn't weigh anything either.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. So
real
it was
easy
just,
to put rudder offset in it. So
yeah, it's amazing when you get some of the older modelers like my age, I guess, and what they still have in their basement. To me, some of the stuff should be in one of the museums.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
fascinating.
the Brodack Museum does have one of those in it too. I saw it. So
Okay, good.
it's good.
Yeah, I thought you might enjoy seeing that. Very
Yeah,
different.
really.
That's neat. I've never seen one of those before. It's neat.
$3.95. I'll give you 5.
Do I hear 6?
Don't get carried away now.
That's it.
Anyway,
goodness.
yeah, it was fun.
That is
bet.
great.
Yeah, it is. That's neat.
I used to have a flight streak that had I believe it was $1.95 on it.
Wow. Yep.
I remember when we used to buy, we'd go mow yards on Saturday morning and come back and buy I bought one week I bought a little jumping bean. The next week I bought for crying out loud, little Satan, $1.50 a piece. Look at them now.
Yeah.
A little more than that. Yeah.
A little more.
Just add a zero behind it.
Yeah. That's crazy. Well, they're almost $40 a piece now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And then you still got to buy the dope, still got to buy the glue. I'm talking, you could go mow a couple of yards. You could buy the plane, you could buy the dope, you could buy the glue, everything, and go home and build it, have a good plane. But boy, nowadays, well, I don't know. I had to have somebody mow my yard a few years ago, and I guess they could still mow yards and go buy a kit. Come to think of it, he wanted $50 to mow my yard. I just, wow.
Yeah, when I mowed lawns for this, I met this one modeler. He was out of the hobby, and so we made an arrangement. He kept track, but I accumulated control line engines by mowing his lawns. So as a kid, I mean, that's how I got my engines.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
He would give me engines after, I don't know, 3 or 4 times of mowing his lawn. He would give me a motor, and most of them were Fox 35s and Fox 36s. I think I had some torpedoes I got that way.
Yeah.
But that's how I got my engines, was just mowing this one guy's lawn.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Like I'm playing.
Yeah.
I'd had a deal like that. I'd have done it too.
Heck, I'd do it now. But
I would mow Howard's circle if he'd let me fly there.
Yeah. As long as he let me use his riding lawnmower.
You gotta fly electric.
Well, I fly electric.
No problem.
That's no problem. That's no problem.
No problem at all.
That's what I told the neighbors. Kind of sorry I did.
I
bet. What you could do, Howard, is invite him over for a fly-in and tell him we're going to have a fly-in and we're going to have IC engines. But you're more than welcome to come over and join us.
I don't think that'd work.
so you don't fly any of your old combat planes out back then, huh?
No.
Yeah, too bad.
Party's
That would
twin.
get some attention. Hey, Tom.
Tom, another VIP. Thank you
There
very
we
much
go.
for coming in, Tom.
Got some grandkids with me too. This
All
is
right.
Ah, all right.
and that's
Hello. How's it going?
Good.
Now, have you guys flown any planes yet? Any control line? Have you flown control line?
I've written one.
Okay. Have you
I
flown
wrote
any
one.
control line? I know you did. I know your grandpa built some control line planes for you to fly.
We're going to do it either this week or next week.
Oh, fantastic.
Owie.
We're waiting for the wind to die down in Minnesota.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Owie, owie, owie.
Fantastic.
From my time in Minnesota, I thought the only time that the wind quit blowing was when there was 6 foot of snow on the ground.
That's probably right.
That's silly. And
we were
there's
there
a storm. I want to tell you this, guys. There was a strong storm, and then Grandpa's tree fell down, and then he had to cut it all up, and then he put it in his wagon, and then he put it in his fire pit pile.
All right.
Wow. Well, it's one thing about it though, Tom. If the
I'm
wind
7
quits-
years old.
You are.
Wow,
Good deal.
fantastic.
Wow.
If the wind ever quits, then the mosquitoes start. So
I'm
better
6 years
better off
old.
with the wind. Better with the wind.
I'm 6 years old. Excuse me.
These two live in Florida now, but they're here in Minnesota for a couple
Wow.
weeks.
Wow. Neat deal.
Yeah.
You know, that means Grandpa could go to Florida and enjoy himself a little bit too.
I was just down there actually. I took a trip to Florida to help them with the house. Put in new flooring and all the new electrical outlets and switches. And then we went to my mom's funeral. So we went from Minnesota to Florida to Denver and then back to Minnesota. It was 3,800 miles.
Wow. Man.
Wow.
Wow, Tom. You're supposed to go to Florida to relax, brother. To relax.
And you're supposed to go in the middle of winter, not in the middle of summer. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess he's hardcore Minnesota, isn't he? So
he must be. Man,
Yeah.
I've been to Florida when it was 102 degrees Thanksgiving Day.
Mm-hmm.
So going in the middle of June or July, you got to be hardcore.
That's
I
it.
don't know any of these people.
Well, the trade winds are blowing in.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
this here?
We went down there one year for a sailplane contest, and I'd always wanted to meet Dr. Walt Good, and I met him, and I bought one of his dethermalizers and put it in, and it worked very well. But even then, in September, October, whenever it was hot, it was humid. He says, "Yeah, but don't it feel good?" I said, "Darn right it does, because it's cold as heck back home." Oh,
That's it. It was 105 in the shade, so I didn't go there. So
yeah, it was 102 that year at Thanksgiving. I had an aunt and uncle that lived down there, and I went down. I thought we were going to go down there and be warm. You know, it was going to be warm for Thanksgiving because it was snowing here that year, and man, it was more than warm.
yeah, I went down. We went down to Daytona Beach once. It was in February. We thought we'd get a break. Got to Daytona Beach. It was 22 degrees.
Oh,
in
me.
February. Yeah, yeah. So I was so happy to take the family on a winter vacation. So
Hey, we went down one year in February for the Daytona 200 motorcycle race. Rode motorcycles out of here and left in our shirt sleeves. Rode down there. It was my first or second year of college. We rode down there and spent the weekend, watched the bike race on Sunday. And I mean, I hadn't thought about a jacket all weekend, but my wife had packed a bundle on the back of my bike, and it had my snowsuit in it, rain suit, Honda line gloves, and boots. Everybody thought, "Why in the heck are you taking all that crap?" I said, "Well, I've been married 3 months. Guys, if my wife wants me to carry this stuff, I'm going to carry it." So
Okay,
we took,
Charles is in the house here.
yeah, so we got down there and it was beautiful, but we come back, it was snowing. Yeah, Charles is there with his airplane. Look out, guys.
All right.
All right.
Let's get back to it.
Let's get back to control line or model airplanes.
Oh, Lordy.
Jerry, help me, Jerry. You have any question about model aviation, Jerry? Help me.
Me?
Yeah, you.
No.
No? Okay. So what you been working on? You been working on any airplane or been flying?
I'm working on finishing up about a 600 square inch plane right now. It's ready for primer. And also trying to finish up a new Jameson for old time.
Great.
Oh, you don't want a Jameson. You don't want a Jameson.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do. You really do.
I've got one now, and it's pretty good flying plane, isn't it, Keith?
It is a good flying plane.
I think it's one. There's 4 old timers I think are about neck and neck, and that's one of them.
Yeah, yeah. Keith and I have had that discussion several times.
Yeah.
The other thing Jerry's been doing is fixing our flying field, and he's done a remarkable job making that happen.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that.
Been spending a lot of time on my hands and knees on that flying field.
Yeah. Is it all rock?
Well, it was after the windstorm that we had.
Gosh.
Over 100-mile-an-hour winds
twice. Denver?
Within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, we're west of Denver at the base of the mountains.
You know, Jerry, before you came on, I was telling Charles about the recorder out there that was with the weather station that we had out there at the flying field, and it recorded up to like 110 miles an hour, and that still shows up on the website, that recording, and that's when it blew away.
Yeah, northwest of Denver. That's
straight west, pretty much, right at the base of the mountains.
Okay.
And I've belonged, I've lived here in Golden for 36 years. I've never seen
Golden, Colorado. Okay. Okay, I got you now.
And our flying field is halfway between Golden and Boulder.
Okay. That's pretty country, but you're way up in the air.
Yeah, we're 6,200 feet at the flying field.
Wow.
Bill Light.
Bill Light and get used to it, because you go to low elevations like Tucson or someplace, and all of a sudden your plane you find yourself doing 6-foot pullouts.
More like 15-foot pullouts.
Yeah, it's wild. I experienced that one time. I went to Albuquerque and took a plane and flew at my brother's. Well, I flew at the field at Albuquerque, but it's well outside of town and all, and it's just a little bitty place. But we flew there for a week and had a great time, but kept noticing I had to retrim my airplane and learn that. Felt like I was learning to refly it.
Yeah.
So came home the next weekend and went to fly at our field with Tom Looper, and everybody says, "Why are you pulling out so high?" Well, okay, I'll get it. But it took me a while to get it back down to 4 feet, because you pull out and the plane just turns. And I'm saying, wait a minute here. This wasn't happening last week.
Well, Keith still doesn't like flying in our field because of the elevation.
Well, Keith's airplanes are not heavy, so it's not because his airplanes are too portly.
Well, it's because the air is just too thin.
Oh yeah, he's as good a builder as I've ever met.
Yeah,
his stuff. The only thing wrong with Keith, if you go to Keith looking at his airplanes, and you want to ask Keith, how do I make my plane get it a little slicker, make it look more realistic? And you look at Keith, and you give up and walk away, because that is realistic. I mean, his stuff is just gorgeous. It all looks like plastic, but it's beautiful. He's a hard guy to ask, how do you make something work, because he's mastered it, and it just makes you feel stupid to have to ask, how do I get anywhere close to that? But his stuff is so pretty. And I don't know how he's flying now, but the last time I flew with him, he really can fly too.
I like Keith. I always enjoy watching you going through your starting ritual out at the field. You get ready to go for a flight.
He does the same thing every time.
Same thing every time, but he had this little box. He had it. Everything that he needed was in that little box.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was fun watching it because it worked for him every time.
Yeah, it did. I don't think I've ever seen Keith have to take an attempt and pull off because it wouldn't start or it didn't run right, or I've never even seen him kick a prop loose. So.
What can you say, Keith? You know.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
No, I think I like the chemist routine before he puts the first flight up, and he's there and he's got his wet bulb and dry bulb and you know, figuring out the air density, and I think he's doing it all to shall we say put the wool over our eyes, shall we say? What's the PC way of saying that? But anyway,
it's playing with your mind.
I think so. But when he reaches for the purple dye instead of the red dye for the fuel, that's when I draw the line. So yeah, that's it.
Hey, Dennis, have you ever had anybody come to the field and put something in your fuel and you're wondering, A, what the heck did you just do to my fuel? And B, why am I suddenly craving a cheeseburger? We had a guy come out here and he put cheeseburger in one of the fuel cans. He put French fries in another, and he put cotton candy in another. We all broke about 10 o'clock. We were all starving to death. It was crazy. It was
when
crazy.
You're flying, you have this aroma in the air.
Yeah, seriously, you had that smell in the air, and it was just. The next time we saw the guy, everybody was over. Don't get near our fuel. Don't get near our fuel. That drove us nuts.
Wow.
Well,
but it put a different smell. And see, the bad thing, I can't smell, but I still get a craving for a cheeseburger or cotton candy or whatever. And it about drove me nuts. The other guys at least knew what the heck was going on. I didn't.
Well, I'd like to talk to him about those whatever he's putting in there for when I start flying diesel.
Ooh, gosh.
Yeah, I was going to say that would explain somebody looked like they were soaking my batteries in something, but I couldn't understand that at all. But
wow, I'm telling you, now they just trying to get any advantage over you, brother. You were flying so good last time I saw you. That was amazing.
No, my dad did do the fuel dye trick when you were flying rat race.
Did he?
He had a can of blue fuel, I think, and a can of red fuel. He went out and ran the one and made, big disgusting look. This ain't running right. And he put the red fuel in, and yeah, that's what I needed. And well, of course, it was the same stuff except for the dye in it. But that's just the kind of things you do when you're trying to get everybody to reach a little deeper, tweak the needle a little too far, and things like that. Trying to get every little edge.
Okay, come here, Jack. Come here.
I enjoyed watching the speed flyers at Whittier Narrows. They'd have a blanket laid out. They'd have all their engines all apart, laying all over the place there, organized, but still there. Starting ritual. All right.
There you go.
You actually got a trophy for your starting ritual? Wow.
That's neat.
There's a story about this. There are, 5 of us that left Southern California and moved to Tucson all within a year. And Knights of the Round Circle, the club we belonged to, Larry Ringer was there, and he was responsible for putting this thing together.
So we can truthfully say that Keith is an award-winning, has an award-winning starting ritual.
There you go.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Will you share that with us?
What's that?
What was your ritual?
Well, it's nothing really special. You just burp the engine before you go out, and with an inverted engine, turn it over to start it,
Yep.
Before you do that, you put a little squirt of fuel. After you burped it, then you go ahead and put a little bit of fuel in the engine, turn it over 6-8 times, and then flip it 4 or 5 more times, and it should start on the first flip. Normally a backwards flip.
So you don't
More
choke
to
it.
it.
You
There's
didn't
more
choke it
to
with
it
your.
than what he's saying. He had this neat little box. It was maybe 6 inches by 6 inches.
So grab that box.
And everything was in that little box.
It's a great idea.
And he would get up and he'd take this up, he'd do that. I mean, it was a piece of work to watch him start his engine.
He's very meticulous.
Very,
very meticulous. Carl can vouch for me. I have a fanny pack, and in my fanny pack, I have my igniter. I have a little a Visine bottle with some fuel in it, and some other things. So I pretty much have a routine that Carl used to see before I started flying my electric SB11.
You need that big a box of stuff. You have to put it in a fanny pack.
Look at this. Look at this. Here we go.
This is it. And this isn't an original idea. I've seen guys, they come out to the circle ready to fly, and they get the engine started and they take the battery off and they throw that over to the side of the circle, and somehow that doesn't look professional. And so the idea came from, I went to England when Al Raby was on the team. I was there as his coach, ended up being his judge, but that's another story. And he had me scrounge around and make a cardboard box. So he could carry his battery and the little fuel bulb and whatever else he carried in there. And so I made him a little cardboard box, and that's what he uses for his starting ritual. So what I've got in here, I need 2 little hemostats to handle the fuel lines in the start, and to plug off or clip off the pressure line from the muffler. And there's a little fuel bulb, and this is one of those desoldering things, just the right amount. And the battery, of course.
Yep.
And I like not to think I have to use this, but sometimes when you're in the circle, well, you need that to change or check the plug or blow it out. And the finger guard, and that's it.
Wow.
And once in a while, some Band-Aids.
Well,
only if he forgets the finger guard.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened here. I didn't have the finger guard on, and
it got you.
And boy, I got whopped. And
I know. I've been watching it heal over the last several weeks. I've seen it getting smaller and smaller. Keith, what brand is that wrench? That wrench does not look familiar. I mean,
that's Fox.
Is that Fox?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it is Fox. Maybe.
I think it is.
But anyway, for the glow plug and yeah, it works.
I'm amazed you guys are talking about this because I just set this whole system up a week ago. And I'll show you guys the little box I got. It's the same. It's exactly the thing Keith's doing. It's amazing. Yeah.
Hey, Mike Costello's here. Hey, Mike. Thank you for coming in.
Hello.
I'm Charles Carter.
There he is.
Hey, Charlie.
Nice to see you. I've seen you in Wendy Anowski videos. And like I told you before, I mean, I text you on the email that I feel I've known you just from watching you on Wendy tapes so much. So it's wonderful for you to come in. Thank you very much.
Yeah, anytime.
Oh, I got one more note on this thing. It's
all right.
Yellow with the black stripes. That's a piece of aerospace ground equipment that the Air Force has. So
I thought I remembered that from somewhere. I just couldn't think of what it was. Air Force. Okay. That's cool.
Very cool.
Kind of worn out, but there it is.
And that's good. It's worn out. That means you've been using it. You've been flying.
I think we all have some worn out stuff around the house, don't we?
Mm-hmm. I used to have.
I am the worn out stuff around.
Hey, Keith.
I used to have a meter in here to check whether the plug was
oh wow,
flooded or not, but I don't use. I just use a good battery and the ritual where you never turn it over to where you can get fuel on the plug before you start it. You don't have a problem. So like I say, normally with this on it, upside down, one backward flip and it goes.
So
Keith,
just to clarify something, Keith, do you actually put your finger over the venturi and turn the prop over, or not?
Well, no, I go ahead and prime the engine, a couple drops in the venturi, turn it over a couple times and flip it a couple times, and then fill the fuel line, pull prop through one time with your finger over the venturi to fill the fuel line, and then go.
All right.
And it works.
Yeah.
Keith, back in the days of getting down on one knee to start the airplane on the ground, you know, you remember those days.
Yeah.
I had a guy ask me to borrow my battery at a contest, big contest. Oh heck, it was at the Nats. And I loaned him my brand new Glow Bee. He started his airplane, took the lead off, and just slid the battery across the concrete to get it out of the way. Oh, I never loaned him my battery again.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's see what you got, Len.
I got this little box. The other day I was in Walmart and I saw this little box in the craft department and I went, hey, I gotta have one of these. And I did. I bought it and it's perfect. I drilled 2 holes in the top of it for my 2 glow starters. You know, I keep an extra just in case.
Right.
And you know, it's got room in one side for a few tools, a rag and a glove. And it's perfect. I got my little primer syringe here on the other side.
Yep.
And my, you know, trusty wrench and an extra plug mounted to the top of it here.
Oh yeah.
And it's just so convenient. And I've only been using it for a week. And I'm so happy about it. And I'm so proud of it. Every time I go to the field, I'm like, I'm ready to go all the time.
You got to put some maple leaves on that.
I don't know. I'm going to put something on it, but I'm just so happy about this little box. I think it's just the greatest little thing that I've ever had.
I think you should. I can give up hope now. I have no hope of ever converting you to electric now that you got that box.
I'm glow forever now, Dennis. I got my club.
That's
I'm
it.
ready to
That's
go.
it. The battle has been lost. So
I think you should put Keith's picture on there.
It should. It deserves to be on here because as soon as he brought this up, I'm like, oh my God, this is unbelievable.
And it was so cute. I went out and bought one the same day.
Oh.
Yeah, he saw it and went, hey, I gotta have one of those too.
Well, you're in management, you know, so he's gonna do what you want him to do, right?
That's right. It's just so convenient that when you go to the circle, you don't have this great big flight box there that you're lugging back and forth, and you got all this crap, or you carry a whole handful of stuff to the circle, you throw it down, and then you have your flight and all your junk's laying all over the place, and everybody else who wants to fly after you, they got to stumble over your batteries, kick all your stuff out of the way so they can get their turn in. Now
I like launching for people like that. They take the glove and they throw it down. They take the battery
and throw it the other.
And the primer bottle somewhere else.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was doing all the time.
Release the airplane and then scramble like a maniac trying to find all these things before the airplane comes around and hits me in the back of the head.
Yeah.
You know?
Whereas now I just take it off. I put everything back in the little box. Even the battery after it starts, I just put it in the box and away I go.
That's describing the one guy said he's quite a good flyer, but when he goes out there and starts, he's got the battery over on one side of the circle, and he's got a tachometer somewhere else, and he's got a rag and a glove or something somewhere else. And by the time you pick it all up, he's already flown over your head. Flat.
That's why you need this.
You know what else is a good solution is I wear cargo shorts. You know, cargo pants?
Yeah.
They have extra pockets.
Yeah.
The cargo pants has pockets on the sides of your legs as well as the front and the back.
Yeah.
That also could help for someone who's not, you know, have a box.
That weights
lots of pockets.
If you're the pilot, that weights you down.
That's right.
$3 at Walmart. $3.
The guy I'm talking about, his initials are Frank McMillan.
Hey,
That's it.
Sounded like
one other guy that has a little box like that. You know him and I know him from this area. Pete Peterson.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
And this
That
thing
is good.
is just a piece of 1/4-inch ply epoxy together. It's lasted me, this thing got to be 20, 25 years old.
Yeah.
That's very good.
You don't even need casters on that, do you?
Yeah, but he can't put his airplane in the holder on top.
That's true.
I gotta put casters on this to bring it to the net.
You guys are officially too many. Good gracious.
Hey, Len, don't put casters on the box. Build a little wooden framework around, put the casters on that.
Yeah.
And the box could sit in that little framework.
That's a great idea.
You put a little handle on it that way.
Yep.
Oh my. What have we started here?
I don't know. I was just going to say at Brodax, I was wearing my cargo pants and then, of course, flying the electric. I put the battery in the airplane at the car. The only thing I carried to the circle was my lines and handle, and I had those in the front pocket of the cargo pants.
Yep.
After I rolled out the lines, I had just the empty line reel there, so it wasn't any weight or anything like that. And
Yep.
I thought that was pretty good, so I didn't even take a toolbox with me there. But
That's awesome.
so I guess they put me in the Charles Carter lookalike contest because of my my cargo pants. But, so.
Yeah. So Mike Costello,
Yeah.
I mean, what you been doing? You been flying or not, or are you thinking about getting back into it? Or what's been going on with you?
Well, I went to Brodax with my new A7 Corsair 2.
Okay, fantastic.
And I had a goal to just qualify. In other words, get pattern points. And I got one of the best scores that I've gotten in a very long time. And I actually ended up ahead of a couple of people in Nostalgia 30. And I was probably in the middle of the pack, if you count also the classic flyers,
Right.
which were, I think, numbered, when you combined the classic flyers and the Nostalgia 30 flyers, I think it came to about 22 people.
That's pretty good.
So
I thought it was 28, but that's about right. Yeah.
okay, maybe you're right.
Yeah, I was a judge, and I'm telling you, it was a long day.
Oh, that's Phil, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, now I recognize you. Yeah.
Yeah. You flew very well, by the way.
Oh, thank you. You know, I forgot to signal you guys.
Sorry.
I've been flying electric, and I haven't competed in too many contests as an electric flyer.
Yeah.
And it was another thing that happened that maybe you didn't catch. But after I landed, there were a bunch of girls over by the tree in the center of the field, and they started applauding. So I took the handle and put it in my left hand. I still had the safety thong on, so technically I didn't totally screw up. And I gave them a wave, and then I.
Well, Sparky saw that and called out, but you didn't take the thong off, so you were still in.
No, I didn't take the thong off.
But that was an interesting airplane, though. It took off. I had to do a double take. I said, "What the heck?"
Yeah, that's Lou Wargast's design. Lou and I grew up together, and Lou designed that airplane in the 70s, and we went to a Flushing contest together one Sunday, and he had his painted in Air Force camo.
Mm-hmm.
And
I remember pictures of that airplane.
Yeah, there's a picture of him at either Flushing or the Nats with one of those bucket hats.
Yeah.
And so that's the documentation we had for it. Anyway, besides the plans that he has for them. I got a lot of questions about that airplane and a lot of compliments, but a lot of questions about what was it? Was it the Macaluso airplane? And
yeah, no, that's not the Macaluso.
yeah, they're very close. They're very close. I go to Dallas once in a while, and there's a museum there at Love, and there's a A7 and a Crusader right next to one another on the floor. And I went there the last time I went to Dallas. My son lives there, and I took a bunch of pictures, and I thought they'd be helpful, but they weren't. But
yeah, everybody thinks that's the same airplane, and then they see it, get to Dallas and see the two of them side by side, and No, it's not the same plane. Not by a good bit.
But anyway, Lou and I talked about, well, what are we going to do next? This was back in the fall of 2019, before all the, the hubbub about COVID hit. And he had crashed the Mirage and was going to either fix it, or he had fixed it and it crashed again. And I said, I think I'm going to build a Corsair. I said, I found a set of your plans, because I had them all stored in the floor joist in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to move them because we were doing some work. And I ran across them. There's the Crusader. Keith's got that.
Yeah.
Front and center.
So anyway, real quick. Keep talking, Mike.
Yes.
See it.
So okay. Lou and I started our airplanes at the same time. His was.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, his was flying about a year before mine. I had some problem with the dope I used.
There we go.
Didn't want to dry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I know what you're talking about. Now your A7 is different than those. I'd like to see the A7 you have.
It's slightly.
It's a little shorter, isn't it?
I think it's shorter, definitely. It's a subsonic aircraft, so I think it's more of a heavier fuselage. If you look at it,
ground support.
It's like an attack bomber. The Crusader was supersonic air-to-air fighter, but the Corsair 2 was a close support ground attack kind of thing.
Ground support aircraft, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like the Crusader is like the Corsair. Well, I think preceded the Corsair 2, but it's like if you take the Corsair 2 and just add some beauty to it, stretch it out a little bit and just add some sex to it. That's what that's where the Crusader is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so Lou and I decided to build these. It was kind of a buddy kind of a project, and he built his and had his flying a little bit sooner than I did. Mine's electric. That's re-engineering that airplane to make it electric took a little time, and it was one part that I made. This is the first time I ever did balsa shells, so I had to carve all the mold bucks and make the shells, and a couple of shells I didn't like, threw away and made them again. And it just took me longer than usual. But at that time, with COVID going on, we had all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's finished. It flies. I'm happy.
You have it with
Looks
you?
good,
Can
too.
you show it?
I could. No, I couldn't do it right. I'll show it to you next time.
Okay,
Friday.
sounds good.
We'll do it Friday, because it's. I didn't remember we were doing this. I had a terrible memory, Charlie.
That's okay. And I emailed you late, so I would have been. I mean, we've been going on for a while. We're going to end this stream in like a few minutes, but do you know how to get into Stunthangar forum?
Yeah.
So I post the link there every Monday and Friday evening after I finish my monologue, which is sometimes after 6:45, almost 6:50. Then the link will appear. It'll be under At the Bench, but you have to be logged into Stunthangar for the At the Bench to appear. And then you look at the bench and you'll see a link with today's date. Just in case I don't email you right away. I didn't know if you remembered your password or if you get into Stunthangar, so that's why I've been emailing you.
No, I can get into Stunthangar. I don't look at it much, but lately I have been. I'm trying to find out more about the ion batteries. Oh, there. Keith's got the A7 up.
Okay. Oh, now is yours painted? Is yours finished like that? Let me see this.
No. Lou Wallgast finished his like that. Mine's the Navy version, which is gray on top, white on the bottom.
There you go.
Yeah, more like that.
There you go.
More like that. Wow, beautiful. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Mike, whenever I think of you, Mike, so I see your Hawker Hunter, the yellow and black one. That's all I think about with you is that Hawker Hunter you did.
What inspires me to build an airplane? It's a paint job. Yep. Once the paint job is in my head, then I will build the airplane.
Oh,
yeah.
It's like that. With me, it's like, the skin.
Yeah, I know
Hey, Mike.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, Mike, did I see a picture of you maybe flying with Bob Hunt recently?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bob,
That is twin?
Bob wanted to test fly his new twin, and it doesn't have retracts. This newest one doesn't have retracts. The field where he flies, he thought was a little bit too rough to use. I said, I'm going to Middlesex later on this morning. You want to meet me there? It's kind of sort of halfway between our two homes.
Right.
So he said, well, if you see me, I'll be there. If not, enjoy your flying. So he showed up, and we spent most of the time getting his wings level. The air was horrible, but we were able to get the wings level. We added some tail weight. We added some tip weight, all things that helped the airplane a little bit. But you really couldn't do enough tricks to feel good about, what was going to happen next with the airplane.
Yeah, and I know his back's been giving him trouble.
Yeah, he went home from that session pretty beat up. And, well, I went home and laid on an ice pack for a couple of hours.
Wow.
But it was like 9 flights, three batteries, 3 flights per 1.5 minute flights per battery. That's 9 flights. And yeah, they're not long flights, but you're walking back and forth and tweaking things. And we must have tweaked those flaps, I don't know, 7 times.
It was good seeing you at Brodeck.
Yeah, it was good to be there. I have another love of mine is guitar playing and music of Django Reinhardt. And there's a Django Reinhardt Guitar Festival the same week as Brodeck's every year. The reason I haven't been to Brodeck since 2011 with the Hawker is that I've been going to this guitar camp. And the year that the first year Brodeck's got canceled because of COVID was a year when I was going to be able to do both, because the schedules didn't overlap like they had been in past years. Anyway, COVID's over. Both events are being run. I'm not getting any younger. I figure I'm going to do a couple of days of each.
Oh, good.
And that wore me. I tell you, it was dandy, but it wore me out.
Yeah. Fair. Good.
But I slept the next week. That took it easy the following week.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, I'll bet. Thank you for running that event. It was great.
No problem.
Indeed.
No problem.
Big deal.
Well, you guys, I'm going to end the live stream, so we're going to transition into the after party. So for our audience to know, we're not ending the show. I'm just ending the live stream. If you want to come in, you need to come in through stunthangar.com, go to At the Bench with today's link, with today's date, and you'll be in here. But if you're not a member, I don't think Sparky's going to still be up to approve you. So you have to maybe come in Friday. So with that being said, we had a pretty good show. It looks like at the height of our show, we've had as many as 31 viewers, and we have 25 likes. And we're just going to end the live stream, and we will continue on. So till then, I'll see everybody then.
Thank
you.
you.
Good
night, everybody.
Got to go too? All right.
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta be up early. So
Yeah,
no problem. Thanks for coming in.